Actually, going to use the whiteboard that we have. I'm not going to touch Coach's play, though, because I know he'll kill me.
Oh, yeah.
So, I don't know. It's a pretty broad question, but I just wanted to ask y'all, what are some things in our lives that we use every day, or that our daily lives would be weird if we didn't have? Feet?
Wheels.
Okay. Cars.
Wheels.
That is good.
But I said wheels. That's like basically the same.
I'm not looking for like food or water. Alright, so Mitchell.
Covalent bonds.
Cell phone. Cell phone.
Allison.
Okay, high school relationships.
Good one.
I hope I can read my handwriting because I barely can.
That's a problem.
Anything else y'all can think of?
Internet.
Internet, yeah.
They had to read books back then. It's
And that goes
terrible.
with like, social media.
Definitely
TV.
Or a toaster. How about that?
Netflix, yeah. Netflix. Anything else, y'all? Aim chat? Aim chat. We are all avid aim chatters.
Ooh, gaming systems. How about that?
Oh,
That work. That's like
N64.
that's like
MySpace.
Football games.
Yeah. Pick up football.
Yeah.
Pick up sports. Yeah. That's something I can't live without, honestly. That's a pretty solid list. Any others y'all can think of? MySpace, kind of social media. I don't know if it's social
more than
media
that.
anymore. Anything else y'all can think of? It's a pretty good list. I mean, everything here I pretty much couldn't go without. Aim chat, always, me and Brian. But definitely my cell phone is hard to go without. I remember this past summer I was in Colorado. I didn't have my phone on me for 7 days because for some reason you don't get reception in the mountains. So I couldn't even use that, and I didn't even have it on my body. So like every 5 minutes, I was just freaking out, like checking, where's my phone, where's my phone? And it's so hard because I'm so attached to it. So if anybody could, I was hoping one of y'all could read Colossians chapter 3, verses 1 through 4, and Matthew chapter 6, verses 19 to 21. Anybody want to take that?
Take it worse.
I'll take Matthew. Or you want Matthew? You got it. You want Matthew? Alright, and then who wants Colossians? That's a good one.
I'll take it.
Colossians.
Yeah, for sure.
Some of you don't have that.
I didn't get this fixed. It's terrible. That's Devin. That's Brian and Gary.
Anything else y'all want to add to the list while we're sitting quiet?
There's Mitchell.
Your sandals. My sandals. I could not live without my
There's
sandals.
Pantheons of the serious face. He's gonna rob me in the background.
You have Colossians?
Yeah.
Alright, you want to go ahead and read?
Then you have been raised with Christ. Seek the things that are above, where Christ is, seated at the right hand of God. Set your minds on things that are above, not on things that are on earth. For you have died, and your life is hidden with Christ in God. When Christ, who is your life, appears, then you also will appear with him in glory.
Thanks. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so Matthew 6:19. Don't save treasures for yourselves here on earth. Moths and rust will destroy them, and thieves can break into your house and steal them. Instead, save your treasures in heaven, where they cannot be destroyed by moths or rust, where thieves cannot break in and steal them. Your heart will be where your treasure is.
Yeah. Yeah, those things kind of, both those chapters kind of tie in together. It's pretty much just God telling us to set our hearts on what is above. And God tells us what truly matters. God doesn't say, love your cell phone or love your social media or anything. But it's so hard. We just always try and find ourselves in like social media, or we try and find ourselves hiding behind our cell phone, or what kind of car we drive. So I just want to ask you all, why do you think we do these things? Why do you think that we put earthly possessions and affections before God? Kind of a broad question again. Apologize. Yeah, Brooks.
I would say because with earthly possessions, you can possess them right now.
Yeah.
Whereas, things in heaven, we're not really necessarily thinking about it right now because it's something that's in the future and it's not necessarily tangible. Whereas, I can get on Twitter in 1 second and just start scrolling. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
I think also that earthly possessions immediately give you like a sense of satisfaction, whereas if you chase a heavenly possession, you might not get that satisfaction right away, or it's not even to like teenager standards cool or something that's fun. And so I think we chase those worldly possessions, like especially like parties and stuff like that, because we think it's cool and how we think it's fun and gives us a sense of entertainment. But we need to be going after heavenly possessions.
Yeah, that's all. Anybody else? Hey.
We've kind of grown up like knowing that like faster is better, like with technology and everything advancing to be faster, and so we're used to everything being in an instant, like getting that instant gratification. Whereas if some of us had to like wait a week for something, it would seem like a really long time because we're so used to having everything like right at our fingertips. And so waiting for something that like we don't know when it's gonna come, and eternity, it's so above our heads because we really don't know how long that is. It just like we don't even regard it because we're like so used to everything that we can have in an instant whenever we want, and have it like gratify us right then.
Yeah. Anybody else? Yes, sir.
I believe, like, people in general, we're slightly insecure about how we feel, how we act. We need someone's approval, so that's why we go to our phones. That's why we rely on our cars to make people like us. If you're sitting behind your computer and you're typing a post that doesn't sound exactly like you would in real life, you're putting on a different face. It's not actually who you are. And like if you accomplish something, like if you get accepted into a college. One of my friends got accepted into a college, and she immediately went and posted a picture of the letter online. She wanted the approval from other people saying, "Hey, congrats on getting accepted."
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I mean, these are all good things. You guys hit it spot on. I just think, like, the reason we put these things before God is because they're physically there for us, you know? Like, I can just go to my phone whenever I want. I could get on social media and I could pretend to be somebody I'm not. I could, you know, if I'm having a terrible day, if I'm depressed, I could just tweet a funny picture or something and pretend to be somebody I'm not. Or I could find my self-worth in how many Instagram likes I get. I know, it's silly, but I mean, I catch myself doing this. So it's just hard, you know, because we just believe that these things are physically there for us. Like my car, it's always going to be there for me. It doesn't matter if I'm happy or sad or depressed or angry. And parties, like going to parties on the weekends, just forgetting about what's going on in your life, just because it's there for me. You know, parties are always going to be there. But I don't know. I want to ask y'all, like, do you think it's really going to matter? Like, at the end of your days, like, is your phone going to be there for you? Or are you going to be clinging to how much money you made or whatever? So I want to read this quote. Of course, it's from Twitter. I find most of my inspiration from Twitter. But this guy, he's legit. Did my research on him. Max Lucado, he put this perfectly. He said, when you're in the final days of your life, what will you want? Will you hug that college degree in the walnut frame? Will you ask to be carried to the garage so you can sit in your car? Will you find comfort in rereading your financial statement? Of course not. What will matter then will be people. If relationships will matter most then, shouldn't they matter most now? I love that. I think it's awesome because it really just represents, like, in my life how I'm always just overthinking things. I'm always thinking, what if I don't get a good job? What if I don't, you know, go to the right college? What if I don't make enough money? Or what if I just don't have enough friends? And I don't know. I just always try and put things ahead of God, and like with social media and everything, I just keep going back to that. It's just so easy to get caught up in that, and we try and find our self-worth in that kind of stuff. And it's really easy just to believe that this stuff is always going to be here for you. Like your phone is always going to be there for you. It's very hard to actually grasp that God is here too. You know, God is present in this room. God is present because, you know, we're gathering on Friday mornings to eat donuts and play games and tell people our birth months. And, you know, I just love that we can actually get away from our cell phones. We can get away from social media and just come together for fellowship. And it's hard. It's hard to see that God is present, you know, because I can pick up my phone, like I said, and be somebody I'm not. But God is not changing. You know, God is the same today, and He's the same forever. And that goes for His love for us. You know, God's love is unchanging. And I think the best way to be with God is just to get in His Word. And, you know, I say this all the time, but I truly believe that we're not meant to go through this life alone. We're not meant to walk alone. You know, your personal relationship with Jesus, that's definitely number one. But I think accountability and community, like we have right now, that is what is really going to grow. And I think that's what I need to appreciate. And like these things back here, like cars and cell phones and, you know, high school relationships and pickup sports, they're not necessarily all bad, you know? The only time that we let them become more than what they need to be is when we put these things before God, you know? Like when I was in Colorado, I was just constantly worrying about my cell phone. I was not really appreciating, you know, God's beauty behind me, these amazing mountains. And it took me days to finally realize, hey, my phone's not in my pocket, okay? And just all these things, you know, that we put before God. Like, I just go back to saying, like, internet and social media. I constantly find myself trying to put these things before me. You know, I'll be satisfied when I have over 50 likes on an Instagram post or something. And when I sit back and think about it, those kind of things just aren't going to be there for me, you know? They're just going to leave me dry. So yeah. Any questions or anything? Comments? Objections? That's pretty much all I got for today. I just want to encourage y'all, you know, just to take a step back and think about what really matters. And I agree with Max Licado's on-point tweet when he talks about how people are really what matter. You know, our relationships with one another and our relationships with Christ. That's what's really going to matter in the end. No question?
I have a comment on the relationships part. My dad told me something that really kind of stuck true and was something eye-opening. Is like, he always said, like, say 50 years from now when we go back to our high school reunion or whatever, you know, someone's going to approach you that you've never seen before in your entire life, and he's going to be like, hey, you don't remember me, but that one time at lunch when you looked at me and smiled and said, like, how was your morning? Like, that really meant something to me. Like, they're not going to say, oh, you were the stud football player, you were this awesome this awesome popular girl that had all her friends. They're going to think about if you actually took time out of your day to talk to people and build relationships with them. That's really going to stick when everything is over and when years go by. You know, it's not how good you are, how popular you are, but how many relationships you made.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I would say another comment. You said it, but you said all those things are not good unless we put it before God, and that's really true. Because with social media, you use that to find inspiration with quotes from different people, and like everything in this world can be used for good. A car can be used for good. A cell phone can be used for good. It's just that when we take the what is it? I don't know what I was going to say.
When you put it too high on a pedestal.
Yeah.
That's bad.
Yeah, and then go along with like why we want some of these things. Other people find themselves in that, and then we start looking at them, and then we just become jealous of it. It's like, oh, it's like, why can't I have a car? Like, oh, why can't I have a phone like theirs? It's just there's a lot of things, and you can have none of those things in the world, and you can still be happy.
Yeah.
And it's like God, He offers so much joy. With joy, I believe the definition of it is like from the inside instead of out. With that, you can find happiness, but with God, you can find joy, and no one can really ever take that away. So that's really awesome.
Y'all have anything else to add? I mean, I just love learning from y'all, you know, because I obviously I don't have all the answers, and I don't exactly have the best experience, but that's just why I love coming to meet with y'all, because you guys respond, and I can learn from y'all, so I appreciate it. Yes, Sarah.
I think going off of what he said, like we did a lesson on this in crew, and joy is like you can only find joy in the Lord, and only Christians and believers can have joy. Unbelievers can have happiness, but it's always circumstantial. Like they can only have it in like cars and cell phones. So like when you follow Christ, you can find pure joy in like all those things and like a lot more. So.
Yeah. And I'm not saying to like hate your cell phone or hate your car or anything. You know, like this stuff is good. It's good, but it's gonna run out one day. You know. So that's about it. That's all I got for today. Unless you guys have anything else to add. But thanks for coming. And Brian's going to close us in prayer. So if